All right, we should be live. Not sure how this is going to go, but I thought I would check in and see if I can get some activity over on Instagram because it's been a minute before since I've checked in live, and so hopefully this goes well. Not quite sure, but it's been a minute since I've streamed on Instagram. But I wanted to try to connect and first of all, welcome all the new members to the community via IG. And so I had to, show my face, go live one time just because I've noticed that getting a lot of feedback and comments from the post or a couple posts rather, and it's a variety of comments, man. And so I wanted to share my 2 cents on what's happening, and of course, get your guys' thoughts on what's going on as well, because I see a lot of people, questioning some of the posts I put up, like, where's your proof, where's your facts, and I'm thinking like, there's such a divide of, I will say, political, um, you just, people are, emotionally connected to politicians these days and not realizing the bigger picture. So I wanted to connect and share my thoughts and share with you some interesting graphs and some statistics that you guys mulled over amongst yourselves. And so let me see if I can actually get. Let me see. So I'm trying to see if it's possible to get some comments out here. I see some people plugged in. For those who are checking out this live stream here, RTD Q&A, want to talk a little bit and just get some things off my chest, share my 2 cents, and just relaxing Saturday, not doing much, and want to just talk a little bit. So trying to do this more often if I can. So for those who are plugged in, if you don't mind, let me know. Try to shoot a comment or something, and I'll see if it pops up in the chat. So it'll make it easier for me to see if I can respond back. I'm gonna try to put myself up here on another monitor and see what it's looking like. But I just basically want to just go through some of the comments here because I don't get a chance to answer all the comments, and I saw that there's a lot of people joining based upon some of the videos I put up there. So I want to definitely connect with those guys as well. So I want to give you guys a chance to see me directly as well as share some thoughts and ideas, and come back at me, push at me a little bit. I don't mind, just because I think at this current moment where our country is going, nevertheless where the world is going, it's we don't need to be down one another's throat when you and we the people, we're not the enemy. It's the puppeteers at play that's trying to divide us to make it look like one political party is better than the other when they're all working towards the same agenda. That's to suppress the truth and allow the governmental entities to continue to do what they've been doing for so long, which is to expand and grow and basically utilize their dollar hegemony as a way to continue to wreak havoc on the world. But that's all changing now. So let's look beyond our emotions, our feelings, and let's not worry about your political affiliations. I mean, that's the wrong approach. Heading into what is clearly going to be considered in the history books as a great unraveling for humanity. And so, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So, give me a second. I'm trying to pull up, make sure I'm streaming over here, and I don't know if I can get comments or not using this software. And it makes it easier to use this because I can share my screen and let you guys see what I see. And so let me try to get my screen open if I can. I might try to, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But anyway, I'm just going to go and just, share what's on my mind, see where this takes us, and go from there. But this is Saturday night. I want to have some fun with it if I can. I'm trying to refresh my screen over here and it's not working. And also, I want to, as I mentioned, try to go through some comments, share my thoughts, and actually reply. I try to reply to as much as I can, but I'm noticing a lot of activity as far as comments, people sharing their thoughts, whether they agree or don't. It's all fine and good. Let's talk about this. And it looks like my page may not open up, so I might not be able to see any questions, but hopefully I can. It'd be good if I could. Let me try to use, yeah, I don't know. So, okay, let me just keep moving. So I was trying to see if I can get some comments in here, but I'm watching. I can't watch. I can't watch the Rethinking the Dollar channel directly on the channel because I'm streaming to the software, so it's kind of hard. So for those who are plugged in, shoot me a comment so I know at least that you guys are able to actually respond to anything I'm saying, rather than just me completely talking to you, which is basically equivalent to talking to myself. So let me try to real quick. Let me try to get see if I can get some questions here. Bear with me. Bear with me here. Let me try something different. Go here, see if it's working. Let me see. Okay, so I can't see myself. Fair enough. Why you can see this? Okay, so I am on there. Okay, so what I'm doing is just watching a camera in front of me. Anyway, so what I want to do is basically check in real quick, share some thoughts and try to just work our way through the emotions behind this political season that's coming up because unfortunately the majority of people are still glued to the thought that one party is better than the other. What I'm referring to party is Democrat, Republican. At this current moment, associating with a mere party does you no good because they're all going to tell you what you want to hear. And as of right now, I'm noticing uh, a lot of desperate activity from the Democratic side. So I'm gonna be straight up with you down the middle. I'm apolitical. I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm more so for truth, more so for the best interest for this country, as well as our future generations. And right now, I'm not seeing much that really gives me confidence in voting in anybody. And it's unfortunate, as I always say, that out of 300 million plus Americans, minus the border crises is open. So we probably have, a couple extra million to add on to that. I wonder which party is okay with that. So, but my point is, at this current moment, out of 300 something million people, it's unfortunate that we're getting, I guess, the best of what they have to offer us. So that's a problem in of itself. The fact that there's a primary two-party system, you can go independent, you go libertarian. You got RFK out here, I guess, leaving the Democratic Party, going independent. But once again, small ticket, not going to get any attention. And as of right now, a lot of his interviews he's doing, he's more so exposing, the true nature of what he'll become if he was to get into the office, which is more of the same. And so looking beyond the facade of what your candidate can promise you or what your political affiliation has been because of your family lineage, I think right now we need to have some serious discussions and look beyond emotions. And so that's what I'm gonna try to do, answer some questions from the chat. Um, Same group on both parties. I am darkness, 100%. So I wish I could see chats. I wish I could see questions in the chat, but I can't on the software here. But exactly. So at the end of the day, this whole show, Rethinking a Dollar, RTDtv, is all geared towards helping people see through the political charades. That's all it is, political charades, and focus on what matters most. And it's ultimately going to become down to the monetary system. And so we have, enjoyed the privilege of having the world reserve currency for the last 80 plus years, and that is right now changing. And so the name of the channel is Rethinking the Dollar, and it stems from me beginning to question the current monetary structure. And so focusing on monetary literacy, helping people understand the core essence of what money is. And so I think that's more important than financial literacy, which comes after you know what money is. And so I think this upcoming season right here is going to be 2024 is going to be the most turbulent year of this country's history. And the reason I say is because we're going to have geopolitical issues still. We're going to have a financial crises that's on the works in the works right now. Just look at all the the bond market activity. You look at the everybody's up to their earballs in debt. National debt. We got a tidal wave. I mean, a massive wave of unemployment coming in 2024, and you have all the mainstream pundits talking about a recession is coming. If you follow the channel, you pay attention to all the metrics. We've been in a recession for quite some time, but they've rewritten the definition of recession on top of every other thing else. I'll talk about that all the time on the live stream, so I'm not going to that. But my point is, our greatest crises is a governance crisis. I say that a lot on the channel, just because no political party is operating in your best interest. Every single person in DC or even your local government, where most of the impact takes place, even those individuals, it's a job, it's a career. Okay, once politics became a lifelong career opportunity for people, we got people on all sides of the aisle, Republicans, Democrats, you name it, Once you can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms, at that point you become compromised because what keeps you from shaking the right hands, making the backdoor deals to appease the people that put money in your pockets, i.e., fundraising, but also when it comes to your constituents, the people who put you there, you can tell them what they want and always promise them something free at no cost. Ultimately, what it boils down to, and of course, they're going to get votes. But then again, on the other side of the aisle, when it's time to either raise taxes or cut, more of the capitalist side of things, where they want to cut taxes, they want to, make the business owners, wealthier by keeping more funds. Majority of people frown at that, but it's okay. You have to get it's give and take on either side of the aisle. But ultimately, it's all a distraction because every single year, debt, every debt ceiling, every you name it, they always kicking the can down the road. So to focus on the debt, focus on the currency debasement, focus on the fact that there's people in DC making decisions on our behalf that we didn't want none of this. We didn't ask for none of this. But then again, they're doing it anyway. So long-winded answer there. Appreciate you guys for joining. For those who are plugging in, man, let me know where you're watching from. Would definitely love to acknowledge your presence. I'm located in Michigan here. Would love to connect either right here, right now, or invite you to join us on Monday through Thursday. I try to do the live streams at 9:30 p.m. Would love to have you guys connect and actually call in and let your voice be heard. But the whole point of me connecting tonight was just to go live, get a lot of stuff off my chest. Want to talk to some people, and also I want to respond to some of the comments and give you guys a chance also to probably share your 2 cents on some of the comments as well, because they're all around, they're everywhere. So let me actually get into. I'm gonna share my screen here, so hopefully you guys can see this, but we'll see how it goes. Let me see here. Love the topic. Appreciate you. We got Go Fitima from. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Let me see. Okay, so reason I wanted to connect is just because I had to cut the notification off for the channel or for the Instagram page just because this is getting a good response rather, and that's a good thing because people I'm touching a lot of nerves for a lot of people in a good and bad way, and I don't want to just focus on the people that agree with me. Like it's not about me being right. I'm just gathering information on my end, trying to package it up in a way where it makes sense within a 60, 70-second clip, which is can't do anything other than try to give you facts and stats. Now, what I've noticed in the comment section, and I'm gonna get into some comments real quick. Let me pull up here. So, not this, the wrong one. Let me go back. What I want to do is let me see. So, as of right here, just looking at the feedback. So this clip right here has been getting the most attention. A lot of people are coming at me sideways, straight up and down, and I want to share some of my thoughts. I try to respond as much as I could, and so here's a good response right here from Rob Doug. He just says lies. So here's the issue. I'm giving stats, and because they don't fit into that person's narrative of their political emotions, I'm talking about this current administration. And I also talk about the previous administration. So if you've been around, you know that I don't sugarcoat it. I think that all paid politicians got an agenda. At this current moment, I don't think there's one American that has currently have the opportunity to represent us right now outright. And so I get on Trump as well. So he's not, everybody got their perspectives, and so I definitely want to be open and up front with mine. As far as what's best for our country, what Trump did during his presidency definitely aligned more with America first in reference to how this current administration and their affiliations with the UN, the World Health Organization, and the World Economic Forum. Those three entities there are basically Satan's like they're like his board of executives. That's how evil the twisted these people are. Those are the true enemies to our country. But then again, they are also the biggest financial backers for our current political politicians. So okay, so real quick, what I want to do, I want to share with you the source of the article that is getting everybody's attention. And then also, I want to comment a little bit. And of course, as you guys can see some of these comments, I'm assuming you guys might have shared your thoughts or whatever. So feel free to, agree with me or disagree is fine. And so I'm gonna just share with you where I get the information from, and then let you guys, decide what works, what doesn't. We'll go from there. So, for sure, as you guys come in, man, drop your boy a heart or something. Let me know you guys are wanting to connect, and I'll try to connect more often. And then if you guys want to call in, the best time is during the live stream. So subscribe on YouTube so you guys can get plugged in there. So, all right. So I want to go through. Let me see. There's 400 responses to this one video, and I won't be able to get to them all. I try to reply to as many as I can, but I want to focus on the questions that are not in agreement with me, the ones that are emotionally attached to this current administration or their political affiliations with the Democratic side, as if like that is the best for our nation at this current moment, despite all the I wouldn't necessarily say evidence, despite all the events that have taken place over the last 3 years since we've gone through this monetary political reset or whatever it's going to look, whatever it's going to be called in the history books. But okay, so hopefully you guys let me know if you guys can see the screen. It might be kind of small, but let me see. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so I'll just read through it anyway. So I want to try to get as many responses or questions as I can to where I want to actually show. So there's 118 comments or thoughts on this one video here. And there's other videos that got a lot more, but I just want to touch on this one because of the emotions that I'm getting. People are really hating me, man. And I ain't doing nothing wrong, but just sharing my opinion. But okay, so here we got T Shacked. It says update your stats and start looking at root cause rather than just saying Biden policies. This started before he started in office. 100%. So if this person was familiar with my overall show, he would know that. And I replied this a couple times to people saying that all politicians that are put in the position of presidency, our president at this current moment is just a front man for our country. Not really he's a figurehead for our country, but it's his staff and those around him. And so at this current moment, or even during the last administration, we all saw the puppets that were stationed around Trump, to where he had to let go of some. They were snitching on him, they was ratting on him. Why? Because he didn't fit into the agenda of the establishment that wanted to work through those guys to get to and through Trump. So you got Fauci. And, I'm not going to get into the health situation, but at this current moment, regardless of your political affiliations, I'd imagine you realize the damage done by that medicine that has wreaked havoc across our country. And of course, you wouldn't know about that unless you're open to alternative perspectives, because you won't hear about it on mainstream media. But you got Fauci, you got I can't even think of was it Brennan, and you got a couple other people. I don't follow the political stuff as much, just because as I say, it's political charade. So they're gonna give you anything you want to keep you busy. But you got the RussiaGate, the hoaxes, and all. You know what I'm saying? The guy's a capitalist. He makes money. If you don't pay taxes, hell, if he could get away with it legally, who wouldn't do that? You know what I'm saying? That's one of the benefits of capitalism. You know what I'm saying? There's tax codes that benefit you for working hard. Anyway, okay, so update your stats. So what I'm talking about as far as the devastation of our country is not just the current statistics given to us about CPI figures, the debt deficit. Our national debt is 33 trillion. And that is whatever. Everybody contributed to that. So I want to share with you real quick a visual aid that I love to use. And so this is what I always go back to. Let me bring this on the screen here. This is what I always go back to. As like, I don't have, I can, I'm not out here to just be right, but I want to give you visual aids and a graph so you can see. And the reason this whole argument is here is because all dollars are not created equal. It's one of my mantras for the channel. And it goes back to monetary literacy. Political charades that are giving us is something that's going to be in our face. We're going to get more of it in 2024 because of the political hype. You're going to have deep fakes of all this kind. You're going to have everybody telling you what you want to hear. Every single, like Vivek, the political guy from the Republican side, he is very sharp and on point with his. But once again, he's a talking figure. No, let me repeat myself. No president at this current point, it is too late for one single individual to make change the way that our country needs it. Why? Because anybody who gets selected to be a candidate to run already had to qualify from the powers that be over, our country, the bankers and everything like that on top. I got another visual aid I'll share, but it's a little too dark to go down that rabbit hole. But at this current moment, every single person that will be considered, whether Democrat or Republican, the people who are currently right now trying to run against Trump, who solidified himself on the right side, but the left side is wide open because they may not even have a dang debate, because what do they have to bring to the table? Just look around at our country at this current moment. It's not in the best shape. And I don't think there's any viable candidates that can run on any issue that will counter what Trump wants to do, as far as make America the primary focus of everything that takes place, not Ukraine, not Israel or Palestinian distraction, that whole conflict there. There's more to that story as well. If Israel decides to have a glitch or let the Iron Dome down and open themselves up, or deliberately do it to, get into the Gaza Strip because of oil and stuff like that. But anyway, I can go down the rabbit hole. But back to this little graph here. Purchasing power of the dollar. I put this together years ago, just because this is another one of those graphs that I love to show people that, this isn't a lie. Like, this graph here doesn't lie. This is factual data visualized in a sense where, since the creation of the Federal Reserve, which is the issuer of our currency, they are the head honcho, they are the monopoly board for our entire financial system. And it's surrounding the petrodollar system, which is the anchor globally. But within our own country, like right now, the Federal Reserve is such a problem because it's a private institution. They have a much greater say in where our country goes than majority of the people in DC, because they can't go against tradition. And on this map shows tradition. There are 19 politicians, presidents on this graph for the last 103 years. 100 years, 103, yeah. I'm sorry, 100 years, 110. My math is off. 110. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Let me do my math real quick. Man, I'm all off right there. God, goodness gracious. I've been saying this. Let me see here. Just make sure my math is on point, because I know something wrong. 110 years, right? I had to look that up. Forgive me. But anyway, we got Democrat and Republicans on this graph right here. And if you look at the trajectory of the purchasing power of the dollar, both sides of the aisle contributed to this. What does that mean in the real world? That means over time, we have worked harder, saved more, ultimately in real wages, earned less, and been able to purchase less as well. So at the end of the day, like right now, we just come off a debt ceiling where they kicked the can down the road for 75 days. Literally, Biden signed the last minute, can kicking temporary spending bill just to pay the current debt of our country. Like, we can't even begin to pay off any of the debt issued in this current Federal Reserve note system. And so this is another example where apart from your political affiliation, apart from, your emotions, your feelings, or whatever else you want to associate with this current political season, no matter what, if Biden wins again, or if Trump wins, or whoever wins, only thing they can do is continue to do more of the same, which is debase our currency, ultimately meaning that the average person who actually works a 9 to 5, your wages will never increase in a sufficient amount to where you'll be able to earn and save more than the current inflation rate. And when I mean inflation, not necessarily the numbers that the CPI figure, those are consumer price index from a basket of goods that they give us, which are all questionable, very faulty. But inflation in relation to the amount of currency created through the banking system, as well as through the credit elasticity that the Federal Reserve allows or does not allow. Like right now, they're hiking things up, which makes lending less likely. So they're shrinking the currency supply. So long story short, get out your feelings. Think about what's happening with our currency. That is the ultimate. So wherever our currency goes, our nation goes. And right now, it can only go down from here, no matter what they tell you from DC or whatever political affiliation you have. Because Trump added just as much debt as Biden added, and then before him, Obama added just as much. And I got Obama at this current moment, like I would hope that people realize that nothing changed under that administration either. So just whatever. So that's a long-winded response, but I hope you guys get my drift. Let me know what's going on. Jay Brand, what's up, my friend? Just sharing some thoughts tonight, man. Appreciate everybody for joining in. And I wish I can show some responses on the screen, but unfortunately I can't. But I just wanted to log in and connect because I wanted to go through. Let me just get back here. Give me 1 second. Let me get back here. So what I was doing was basically trying to get to some of the questions and thoughts and emotions that were put out here in this particular tweet here. So I had 118 people reply, and I went online and replied to maybe 5 or 6 of them. So I couldn't get to all of them. So I'm hoping that those who join the community via Instagram, that you guys would join in and share your thoughts. And I'll highlight some things that is worth mentioning so people can get out of their feelings and focus on where our country's heading. So I was reading some stuff here, and I was talking about the Biden policies, about Biden. So then that it's not a left or right. It's really bad. The inflation is not only in America, people, 100%. It's everywhere. Okay, so here we said Trump's economy was so bad the Fed Reserve had to cut its interest rates 3 times to just 0.5% to keep his economy afloat. Yet the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates 7 times under Biden, literally because his economy has been so much stronger. His economy has been so much stronger. Like what? So, so a lot of these talking points that people are putting, they're from things that they've literally heard and not actually from stats and facts. And so the numbers that the government gives us during during a press secretary conference, or all these figures they give us, you cannot trust the entity that's designed to keep you deceived and to make themselves look good. Like, what politician has ever came out and told the truth before the facts were revealed? Greatest example is whenever a recession starts, they don't tell you the recession started till the Bureau of Labor Statistics, was it 2, 3, 4, 5, damn near half a year later, says it started back then. So you'll never get real-time information. And then the information you do get, you got to question it, just because at this current moment, will they really tell you the truth? Cause you to panic, cause you to run down to the bank, get more of your currency out. So when I see stuff like this, I'm like, okay, this person here, he has more feelings attached than he has actual numbers. I'm going to share with you some numbers in a minute. I'm going to share the numbers. So I'm going to share with you. So let me go back here. So where I'm going to share with you the article where I got these numbers from. And we just walk through them real quick. Okay, so somebody said, "Here, that's a lie. I'm actually better off." So I replied what I replied. Says that's good. That's good to hear. The information is in reference to the economy as a whole. And so let me keep moving. Let me find some more comments here. It's great that you have all these stats. We all know it's not what you do now; it's what you already been done. Inflation happened because of Trump. There was going to be a recession before that medical situation hit. So once again. Okay, it happened because of Trump. Okay, so obviously this person, right? Once again, I just mentioned it's a monetary phenomenon. It's called the boom and bust cycles. That is what causes economic booms and busts, and has everything to do with the Federal Reserve, on top of all the other events in the world, where central banks in cahoots with governments are basically, it has become mankind's greatest enemy, just because interest rates too low creates a false sense of hope and boom in the economy. So that because the rates were so low, economy did boom, sure. But then again, the same economy that had low interest rates, the rates were relatively low, historically low, since the Obama administration. And damn near they were lowered because of the great financial crisis in 0809, and they never fully recovered because they were kept low for over a decade. So any president coming into office was going to have issues, whether, if Hillary Clinton would have won instead of Trump, she would have had issues because interest rates were at that point starting to come up in 1819, where of course they had to have some type of diversion tactic come March of 2020 with the health situation because the Federal Reserve and the banking sector were having issues, i.e., the repo market, repurchase market. Anyway, so not much validity there. And so here's another one here from Mansour. Said, I wish when people make points, they actually do some research and reasoning. So I'm assuming you're referring to me. So I'm gonna get to some stats in a minute. It was either Biden or the end of democracy, period. Says because economic policies start and stop with each new president, the residual effects of previous administrations play absolutely no role in current economic realities. If only Biden hadn't flipped the inflation switch to on, we'd be so much better off. Yeah, but at that point, he literally just playing along. He's following tune with what happened when he came in office because at that point, the medical situation already forced the economy to. Well, they did it more on purpose, but by the entire economy seizing up and being closed down, that in of itself was the monetary phenomenon, which led to the response that the Federal Reserve had to make. Okay, so here we go. It said, "Thanks, Trump. Biden just kept the printing going. Why stop what Trump started? Democrats are not going to allow a booming economy to go to another Republican president finishing the job. I guess when everyone was receiving enhanced stimulus checks and PPP loans, that was great. Not at all. And so the enhanced stimulus checks and PPP loans was the additional currency that was put into circulation, which resulted in the inflation figures that came about under Biden administration. So, you know, I think what was it? One or two checks came, well, one check or two checks came under Trump, and then one check came under Biden. So they both gave checks. And most people, at the end of the day, are worse off. It says all CEO has record profit earnings due to prices gouging. Okay, not sure what that has to do with anything. So yeah, let me get to some more of the questions. Lies, lies, lies. Okay, so so Michael says bull crap statistic. Okay, so let me just get to the statistics so you guys can see where I got this information from. And it says, let me see, more people should be here to hear this. Yeah, so the goal is to, connect more. So that's why I encourage people, if you subscribe here on RTD Instagram, come on over to the YouTube channel or Rumble and connect with us there. I try to put together information that really matters, minus my feelings or emotions. I try not to put any, of course, it impacts me because I'm more concerned with the Federal Reserve note and the system that's being put into place with central bank digital currency and stuff like that. So I am concerned, but then again, like I try not to put my emotions in any of this because at the end of the day, we don't really have much of a say as to how things shape out. You can say that you just go vote, right? But I think we all kind of see that the Dominion software system and ballots and all that stuff that's out there, regardless of whether or not you've seen it or not, there's been enough video surfacing on the ballot harvesting and stuff like that to let us know that this past election wasn't the cleanest. If it wasn't the cleanest, then I'm like, what are you expecting for 2024? Yeah, you won't get there is no such thing as voting. They're selected. So that's where it's like, okay, you know, in your state and in your city, county, that has more weight than our federal. Anyway, okay, so let me get to some of the stats, man. So let me share with you the headline, the article. So this is the article that I grabbed this from. Let me try to make it so you guys can see it. So this is from a very knowledgeable person, Martin Armstrong from Armstrong Economics. Very knowledgeable. And this guy's on his stuff. He's like been a consultant of governors, governments. And so this guy here is not one of those guys that's emotionally attached to anything because he'll come at you right or left. He just shares stats. And so a lot of the information I grabbed was just information from him. So it talked about, U.S. trade deficit. Like I would imagine most people can argue that our trade deficit. Try to grab a. Let me see. I'll try to grab real quick trade deficit in USA. Like our trade deficit is like a given because only thing we produce here is ultimately speaking that the world really has to have or need is debt. So Let me grab some. Let me see if I can grab some images real quick. Something quick just to show you that we had a trade deficit under the previous administration as well. So it's not like things got worse and Biden got in. It was already bad. So I made. I did. Yes. Let me see. Here goes some interesting. So yeah, these are. I mean, these are. I should have grabbed some fresh ones, but I didn't plan on going down this road. But here's just yeah. Here's a graph here if it matters. It doesn't, but let me see if I put this on the screen real quick. This is a graph that it's older, but it just goes to show you how things were already extremely bad. Basically, meaning that we import more than we export. And as you look at around, everything says made in China. So those are the goods that we import on top of everything else. And the only thing we export typically is the debt instruments used to fund all that stuff, i.e., government debt, our bonds and treasury, things of that nature that the world right now is starting to dial back from. So just the red is what I was trying to highlight. But okay, let me go back here. So what I'll do is, so this is the article that I grabbed that information from. And so this page here is a link that's inside the article. And so this is from factcheck.org. So this is one of the fact checking houses, a project of the Annenberg Public Policy Center. So these people here are supposed to be legit. So we got Eugene, D'Angelo, Brooks. So we got 5 people who put all these stats together. And so once again, even these stats here are the same stats that are read off from the mainstream pundits, which once again, you have to question the way that they measure things nowadays, given the fact that they adjust everything to fit their agenda. So let me just get to this graph here. So we got Biden's numbers from October updated by this fact check. So they got jobs up plus 13,000 jobs. Now, if you just look at the recent unemployment numbers that came out, as well as the new category of part-time workers, that more people have 2 jobs now. So these figures here of 13 million plus jobs created probably from October can be deceiving because it's just a single number. They don't tell you how they got that figure. But a person having 2 jobs or maybe 3 jobs doesn't equate to the type of health that you would want to say is, the labor market actually has. So it's like, okay, take it with a grain of salt. Unemployment numbers down. So 3.8%. It's gone up. It's gone up. Like unemployment claims are going up. Like people are being let go. Just check out Stellantis here in Detroit. Like they let people go. 6,500 getting buyout. And yeah, so these numbers here, they look good when they throw them at you because they know the average person not going to go do some research and try to question them themselves. Poverty, no change. I would imagine, you look at the homeless crisis that we have in California, New York, you name it. If they calculate those things fairly, I would imagine that the numbers would be, they wouldn't be no change. Weekly earnings are down. Okay, that's not good, I guess. Oh, food stamp recipients, according to them, are down. Federal debt held by the public is up. So, okay, how do you compensate for all that alleged growth in the economy, as well as all the beneficial things he's done for people in their lives? Through debt. So our debt goes up because we have issue more debt to pay bills because of all the promises that they've made. Consumer price index, it says plus 17%. And so that's a pretty high figure. So that number that I gave that somebody commented on inside the chat or inside the comments, they was like, your stats. So these are my stats. These are from factchecks.org. So plus 17%. Okay. Okay. What else you got here? Manufacturing jobs up 815. I'm questioning that. I'm not quite sure, how you get that total. Gasoline prices up 50%. So let me find out. Okay, it says all figures represent data as of October 19th since Biden's first day in office. So this is ultimately 2.5 years of data that these numbers come from. So it says, unless otherwise noted in our story. So this is basically Biden's administration. These are figures from Biden's administration. Once again, even the plus and the negatives, take it with a grain of salt. Home ownership is up point one. Okay. People without health insurance is down. Okay. If you want to consider, that was that US.gov health is being like quality. Okay, sure. What else? So this is where all the facts came from. And I should have probably stipulated that, from in his entirety of his presidential campaign was probably better. But oh well. But let me go back here to what I was talking about. So yeah, I wanted to log in and just share some thoughts, man, and go through some of these questions here because a lot of people were, yeah, I think out of 118 questions or out of 118 comments, more it's probably I would say 50, probably 60 people kind of agree with the misallocation of or not misallocation, but the actual figures that was given, more so because they're probably not fans of Joe Biden. So even if I gave out some astronomical numbers, most people agree with me probably or show their approval just because they just don't like Joe. And so that's another emotional attachment to either a party or a person based upon the fruit that has come from the tree. Like a lot of this stuff is like if you just look at what the person has done while they're in office, while they're in position as president, despite all the figures that they want to try to sell on us, you got to, use a little uh spiritual discernment is probably a good word. But anyway, so yeah, the comments go on and on, man. So I just want to 95% of our cities are made up on the spot, no doubt. So I replied to that one. Let me see here. Did I reply? Nope. It says Biden economy. So Tommy says Biden's economy is stronger than Trump's. Once again, how do you measure strength when our current currency is being devastated, demolished right now? Like, how do you measure strength of an economy? It's more so probably because everything in that person's life might be relatively stable. So you just look and assume it's for the entirety. But once again, I don't think so. What else you got here? I'm just like a lot of these comments here, man, they're interesting to say the least. But people, regardless of the numbers, they already have predetermined their viewpoint on political candidates based upon either the fruit that that person has displayed because of their prior track record or outright just dislike and hate because they just don't like the person, whether it be people who just hate Trump because he's rich and whatever, like whatever, it's just whatever. But like I said before, ultimately at the end of the day, everybody uh has their own opinions and things of that nature. But let's just be open, drop the emotions, let's focus on what's happening in the real world. And I think this upcoming cycle, you're gonna have more than enough uh emotions out here amongst family members of all kinds because people will literally, yeah, this presidential election is going to be bananas. Like, and I also have the mindset that between now and next year, the economy may not hold up because the banking sector, as I mentioned, is having issues. We're already in a recession, so the likelihood of something worse happening is very high. And so right now, everybody's kind of like waiting on the market because you focus on the debt market. Right now, our debt is not the most favored in the world. Even though people still need it, it's not necessarily something they have to have because the BRICS and other nations are trying to figure out their alternative systems. So that's another issue that I think they meaning the puppets that be, they're gonna try to use those type of distractions to create another military conflict. So everybody talking about World War III, like we could go to a world war, and it's a lot of biblical connotation to it because people are like, Israel. Israel is the center point of that piece of land. I would say is the focal point for humanity because as a believer in Christ, that single that region, that region like Jerusalem, the throne of David, where Jesus Christ will sit one day, is the hottest real estate on the planet, bar none. And that's a spiritual confession there. But anyway, so I just question all that Middle East stuff right now because I know ultimately, the greatest asset the Middle East has is oil. And right now, OPEC and the BRICS, they're formulating a bigger oil cartel, which is going to put the dollar in danger. So we're going to have more than enough economic and financial problems in our country. And they're going to throw politics on top of it, because once again, it's in the best interest of the globalists and the people that run our banking sectors to have people that go along with the flow. And of course, the Build Back Better initiative headed by the World Economic Forum. And speaking of which, for those who are, who you haven't, I did like a little book review on this book here, Control Oligarchs. And it talks about these five, as I call them, puppets. Like, these are people who've been given a very privileged position of being billionaires, but then again, they're using their wealth for nefarious purposes. And our government don't even clap at these guys. Like, imagine like Bill Gates out here buying up the entire country and farmland, creating all types of medical procedures around the continent of Africa and putting mosquitoes all in the air. And our government is like, okay, they're like, that's natural. So once again, these people are front men. There's people above them that got strings. Those are the same people who got the strings on these guys here. They got the strings over the politicians in DC. There might be one or two real ones, but they know their limitations. You can't go and speak truth without facing some backlash because they all got dirt on them. So anyway, I can go on and on, but I'm not, man. What else we got here? Appreciate everybody for joining in, man. I'm gonna try to connect more often. And for those who do plug in, come over and watch the YouTube channel. Definitely, you get a chance to call in, let your voice be heard. We have a good time over there. So, but no, appreciate the feedback from the videos. Definitely, continue to support. If you find a video that you like, I try to share one at least one a day. If you find something you like, please share so more people can begin questioning the mainstream narrative. And it's not about being right or wrong, but getting people to think critically and not just believe what they're told or sold from their favorite politician or political party. Because ultimately, our government is our biggest, crises right now. So anyway, people, yeah, I just have fun, man. I wish I could get more participation via the chat, but it doesn't work that way on this software. So, but I wanted to connect and just, hang out a little bit. Hopefully you guys had some fun. If you don't mind, shoot me a little heart so I know if you guys feeling it or not. But I want to try to do this more often. So that's it, man. It's was 6:17, and appreciate the hearts, man. I'll see them. Thank you. Okay, good people. Well, yeah. Keep doing what you do. Stay prayed up, get your weight up, and everything in between. Come over and join us on the YouTube channel. And if you got, anywhere I'm wrong here, that's fine. Bring some stats and facts, and let the community hear it. We'll be smarter for it, rather than just believing what we're told. So, all right, good people. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out with me. Catch you guys later, and I'm gonna do this more often. Peace.